Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bomb Shelter Sessions, KCSC's interview and performance series. I'm your DJ Lasercat, also known as Carlos Rodriguez, and joining me today is a pop punk powerhouse from Southern California, Such a Mess. And yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us. We're honored to be here.
No, it's honestly, and you were also on my Discover Weekly at one point in time,
Sick.
which was, it's just really cool that I get to meet like two people at one point in time I was listening to just like a year ago in the station, just kind of chilling there and being like, wow, this speaks to me. But currently you are on tour promoting what exactly?
So we're actually on tour promoting our brand new EP, which hasn't come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
It actually drops March 10th. And we actually just released a single called Better Weather. And so far we've been getting really good feedback on it. And it's been, really, really cool. And then going to all these cities with Crooked Teeth, it's been awesome. Kids coming out to these shows. We've been getting good responses.
So how has touring with Crooked Teeth been?
Honestly, it sucks. I'm kidding. No, they're the coolest guys, sweetest guys, honestly. We've actually toured with Tyson a few years back as well, too, when he was in his other band. And, it kind of built a relationship with him, so it's kind of like nothing new. But with the other gentlemen in the band, like both Adams, actually, and then the young Devin, it's been cool. They're all good people. I like to, shoot the shit and, just have a good time.
That's
what it's all about, really.
I agree.
All right. So when I was researching you guys for a bit, I actually came across the fact that you guys have 5K monthly Spotify listeners at this point in time, which, I mean, for a band that's just out doing like shows in small towns is actually really big. And I noticed that a good chunk of them are coming from Los Angeles, which is, of course, your guys' area. But how does it feel to be just being so well known kind of in your scene and now just being in different other scenes that are smaller and just kind of a lot more like close knit and stuff?
Well, to be honest, it's pretty mind-boggling. I've never really expected, such an outcome, And it's been like crazy, being from Los Angeles, being from a town, it's, super, super huge. And having, kids come to these shows, it's like kind of not like expected, but it's kind of like, it's Los Angeles.
Do you end up seeing like the same people sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. Actually, more than we'd like to. No, I'm just totally kidding. But it's really, really cool. And then coming out to these small towns, and just seeing kids that are just really, really stoked on it. It's probably even more stoked than the kids that we play, with back at home. It's really, really cool. And just it's a heartwarming feeling. Just knowing that your music's getting out there and people are listening, and it definitely is a humbling and very cool experience, man. Yeah.
So would you say that like as a band, your ultimate goal of this tour was it's obviously to promote your upcoming album, but would you also say that's kind of to build a larger just like fan base right now?
Yeah, we just want to get our music out to people who want to listen. If you like us, that's awesome. If you don't, we'll make you like us.
Just sit there.
Yeah, sit there and listen.
You're gonna like this. No. So I guess to continue, you guys have been releasing music since 2011.
Yes.
And I mean, for most bands that have been together for 6 years now at this point,
Yeah, just about.
Like a lot of bands seem to just kind of like fall through at some point. They either get over their heads and they get like a lot of success really early on, then they just kind of fall apart, or they just kind of never really click and just kind of break up. So what's kind of kept you guys together at this point?
Honestly, the people in the band. I mean, yeah, we've had people come and go, but I feel like with this group that we have now, I think it's actually the longest knit group we've had.
Oh, rad.
From the start. But when Dave, Mark, Derek, and JoJo and myself, we just all kind of clicked, and we clicked on more than just a musical scale. We just, we're just friends that just like to, do cool shit and write music and get drunk. Except David. David doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. I do though. So, yeah.
So I guess the other thing too that I really saw from your guys' just evolution as a band is back in 2011, you guys were kind of what could be considered a just really like not hardcore, but like the standard pop punk band kind of where like, oh look, there's gang vocals, there's like random just like break sections and stuff like that. But the more you've gotten releasing music, in 2014 you released Good Intentions, which still had some of the pop punk tendencies, but started to get a little closer to like emo and stuff like that. What kind of sparked your like transition to emo and kind of stray away from pop punk?
Well, a big part of that was actually me joining the band.
Okay.
I joined the band shortly before Good Intentions came out, when Such a Mess was just starting to begin that writing process. And I think just having new people with kind of different backgrounds and stuff is always going to sort of change the style that the band, style of music that the band plays, but also just kind of taking things more seriously with the band. Before I was in the band, before Dave was in the band, it kind of started as like a side project for some of these guys. And not that we don't do it for fun now, because that's kind of part of, I think, why we're still together, is because we just have fun doing it. But I think just kind of taking it a little bit more seriously and trying to reach out and relate to bigger themes and relate to more people with our music, that just kind of ended up being the natural progression of the band's music.
So yeah, I actually did notice that like theme transition a lot. Like 2011, it just kind of felt like, oh hey, we're just gonna have like fun and do some like fun pop punk kind of stuff, just
Right.
bounce around. But it seems like a lot of your themes have kind of matured now, and you're talking a lot more about. And obviously, I mean, that comes with age. The older you
course.
get, the more you're going to start talking about different things. But do you ever kind of feel that, like, the transition to kind of being a little bit more, like, emo focused, I guess, not like 100% there, but like using a lot of the tendencies, do you ever kind of feel like you might be alienating your old fan base to some extent?
I mean, I certainly hope not. I think that we have always talked about kind of towing the line between pop punk and emo and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of gray areas between genres, but I think that hopefully people that were big fans of, you know, what we were doing 5-6 years ago will still see the same Such a Mess that we were, and hopefully appreciate the growth that we've made, and just kind of be on board for where we're going next.
Rad. And of course, you mentioned earlier, but I just want to reiterate, your next EP, Stay Right Where You Are, comes out March 10th, and you have your single out right now called Better Weather, and it's honestly really good. I really enjoyed the single. It's
Thank you.
a lot of fun. It has a lot of just interesting themes going into it. But how long did the recording process take for this current EP that's coming out?
It actually was probably the quickest that we've done so far. Usually we're pretty slow about getting new music out. I mean, we play a lot of shows, and we all kind of have very busy lives outside of the band as well. So for us to be able to just sit down, write some songs, record some songs, and get them out there within a few months' time was actually like pretty quick for us.
Rad. And what kind of like themes can we expect on the EP?
It's a lot about like just sort of natural changes that come with getting older. Sounds like I'm talking about puberty. I'm not, but just sort of how like I guess even it kind of echoes back to that previous question about how, you know, when you're young and, you know, you're either in your late teens or your early 20s, everything that's in your sort of sphere is just about having fun and having a good time and kind of trying to chase that. But when you get older and your relationships change and you kind of look around and realize that you don't really quite hang out with as many people as you used to, and maybe you don't even really like some of the same things you used to anymore, and how that's going to change the nature of the relationships you have, and how, you know, it's also not just about you, and how are the other people in your life changing, and as you get towards your mid and late 20s, and, you know, even further on into life, like just how those relationships change and where they go.
Rad. And I guess the next big question is, what is each one of yours favorite song off the EP at the moment?
I'd probably say there's a song called Redshift. I think for me, it's very dynamic. And personally, the things I've been through, obviously we all play a part in what goes into the songs. I think it relates to me very well. I'd say that's my favorite song, Redshift.
I would agree with Dave here. I think Redshift is my favorite song. It was my favorite song writing it before there were even like vocals or anything involved. And I think maybe I'm biased towards it because of that. But after all, like I'm very, very proud of all the songs on the record, but I'm always going to carry a soft spot in my heart for Redshift.
I like Redshift. No, my favorite song off the record is actually the very first song. It's Noah's Arcade. And it's just, it's just such a hard-hitting song. The chorus is just amazing, which you will hear soon.
Exclusive.
Right. No. But yeah, just the whole writing process for that song, tracking that one vocally was like the most fun for me. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm a little biased on that too, but it's a great song, and honestly, that's my song. I mean, not my song, but it's like that's my
Own
favorite.
It. Just do it. Own it. It's your song right now.
It's my song.
Well, and I guess before we actually go, what 2 songs are going to be playing for us today?
We're going to be playing 2 songs that are both on Stay Right Where You Are. The first one is our new single that we're promoting, Better Weather, and the second one is a song that was actually on a split that we released with our friends in Postseason last year that made it to the record as well, and that song's called Keep to Myself in F sharp minor.
Oh, rad. And do you have any social media, anything you want to plug?
Instagram, Such a Mess CA, Twitter, Such a Mess CA, Facebook is just Such a Mess. In addition to that, both of these songs are currently available. You can listen to them on Spotify, on iTunes, all that. So if you like it, go check it out.